나한테 정말 필요한 거구나. 그래서 아주 유용하게 사용할 수 있을 것 같아요.
아, 내가 이런 식으로 개발을 하면 되겠구나라는 것에 대한 방법론을 제시했기 때문에 그런 부분이 있어서 좋은 것 같습니다.
제가 프로그램 기획하는데 좀 많은 아이디어, 어떤 단체 운영이나 또 철학적인 부분도 좀 이 팁을 얻은 것 같아서 좀 굉장히 만족스러웠습니다.
강사분에게 되게 감동받았어요.
The New Victory Theater is a theater for kids and families that's right on 42nd Street in New York City. We have about 15 to 20 shows that come through each year from all around the world. And those shows represent opera, theater, Shakespeare, puppetry, a little bit of everything. But they are specifically created and brought to New York City to appeal to families and young people of all ages. So the New Victory Theater has the performances on the stage, and then we also have our family engagement programs that happen around that. The teaching artists that teach in our family engagement programs are not the ones that are on the stage for the performances. They're two separate things, and that's because the performances are coming from all around the world. They could be coming from New Zealand and Australia, and they are only with us for 2 to 5 weeks at a time, whereas our teaching artists are with us for years and years and years. The way that we make the connection between the work on our stage and the work that the teaching artist is doing is we make sure that our teaching artists have the same skill sets, the same artistic backgrounds as those artists that are on our stage. So while it might not be Sarah who is in a comedy show that comes to the New Victory, Sarah has a very similar background and artistic skill set as the performers who are on the stage, but she lives in New York City and she can participate in a lot of training with us so that her skill set in working with families can grow over the years.
We are not just teachers, we are teaching artists. So we look for opportunities to be artists when we facilitate. And this also goes back to one of our pillars being art form, that we teach through the art form. So 2 examples are maybe in a family workshop, the teaching artists might demonstrate a routine or a scene. Another example is that at one of our events at the theater before the show, where we're welcoming families to come to the lobby and play before they go and see the show. There might be a teaching artist who's in role, who's playing a character inspired by the show and running an activity or an experience as that character.
We are very excited to work with Korean teaching artists and arts professionals while we are here, partly because we so strongly believe that working with families through the arts allows us to, it doesn't just allow us to, it creates an environment that families are able to learn and play and create sort of new relationships with each other that is very hard to do without the arts. And I think one of the things that we have learned over our time of doing work with families is that it has an incredible value for us because it helps deepen their relationship to the arts, but also it has an incredible value to them because it means they come together as a family in a way that they don't often get to do in other scenarios.
That in the US, it's customary to have interactive programming, interactive arts programming for kids in schools. it is also customary for families to be spectators together at an arts event, but it is less typical that there be interactive programming for families. So this is territory that we're exploring at the New Victory Theater, and we're excited to share what we've discovered so far here with cases. And also, it's exciting because within the 2 days, there is opportunity for some exchange to hear from you all what you're doing and what you're finding out, and to look at where there are maybe differences and where there are similarities and ideas we have together, both as artists and administrators from the US and from Korea, about how we can move family arts programming forward.
Tomorrow, the first session of the day, we will focus a lot on some very typical icebreakers or warm-ups that we might be doing with the families, but also to use them to get the adults who will be in the room participating comfortable with the kind of work that we'll be asking them to do. But we want to tell you that all the work we do with families, we start very similarly to this, because we learn that if adults start sitting, they have a hard time standing up. So my name is Lindsay, and I am the Director of Education and Public Engagement at the New Victory Theater, which basically means that the about 125,000 family members that come to the theater each year come through my programs to play, to learn about the arts, and to become more creative in their everyday life.
And I'm Sarah. I've been a teaching artist with the New Victory Theater for 8 years. I work both in schools and with families for the New Victory. I am, apart from my work with the New Victory, I am also a comedic performer with an ensemble called Under the Table, and I am a clown in pediatric hospitals as part of an outreach program of a New York-based circus.
팔순 어머니 생신인데 카페를 통째로 빌렸대요.
There are 2 areas, and we would like you to fill up the papers. This one reads, what is your experience working with families? What do you already do? And this one reads, what are your questions, concerns, or challenges about working with people?
소통의 문제나 이런 것들은 항상 있는 것 같아서 그런 것들을 이렇게 좀 약간 오픈하는
그렇게 온 가족이 같이 그 장기간 프로그램을 할 때 이렇게 생기는 여러 가지 문제점에 대해서 궁금한 것들이 많아서 그런 질문들도 좀 하고 싶어서 참여하게 됐습니다.
실제로 이제 저희 같은 경우는 현장에서 이제 다양한 사실 저소득층이나 다문화나 또 혹은 북한 이탈 청소년이나 이런 분들을 만나는데 사실은 그게 전부 다 가족의 문제예요. 그래서 어떤 가족이 어떤 마인드로 사실은 아이를 교육하느냐에 따라서 사실은 그 아이가 삐뚤어지거나 잘못되거나 하는 부분들이 다 좌우되더라고요. 그래서 사실 가족 워크숍의 필요성을 점점 절감하고 있거든요. 아이를 가르친다고 해결되는 부분이 아니라서 또 다문화 여성도 마찬가지고요. 그래서 이번 워크숍 참여하면서 더 많이 오랫동안 워크숍 해왔던 분들한테 노하우를 좀 전달받고 싶어서 왔습니다.
네, 저는 그 예술 강사로 활동하고 있고요. 지금 중고등학교 아이들과 연극 수업을 하고 있는데 아이들의 이제 수업을 이제 단연간 하고 있으면서 느낀 점은 학교 안에서의 그런 소통도 제일 중요한 건 가족의 소통이 먼저 이루어져야 된다는 생각을 되게 많이 했어요. 그래서 한국 안에서 아직 가족에 대한 그런 워크숍들이 발달돼 있지 않은 상황이라 외국의 사례들이 굉장히 궁금했고요. 그리고 그 가족들 간의 워크숍들이 그러니까 성공 사례도 있겠지만 그 실패 사례들도 되게 많이 듣고 싶거든요. 그러니까 초창기에 외국에서 진행을 하셨을 때 어려움들도 있었을 거고 가족 워크숍이라고 하면은 지금 기획하시는 분들도 계시고 강사분들도 계실지 모르겠지만 그 목적 자체가 많이 다를 것 같아요. 근데 지금 사례를 얘기하실 때 어떤 목적을 갖고 어떤 대상을 갖고 하셨는지도 좀 목적이 한 가지일 수도 있고 그 기획에 따라서 여러 가지 목적이 나눠질 수 있잖아요. 그런 것들을 조금 듣고 싶습니다.
After we finish with the warm-ups, we'll talk about some of the philosophies and sort of pedagogy behind the work that the New Victory does with their families.
We have very clear goals for our family engagement work, and they are up there. You can see them translated, that they are to dedicate time for families to be together and connect throughout the exploration of the art form. But our sort of secret goal throughout all of it is to create spaces for families to be able to find joy and laughter and connect in a way that strengthens their family bonds.
So a lot of the growth that we've had in our family programs over the last 5 years are the opposite of the 12-week show up every week, commit to the 2 hours, long-term engagements. And instead, they're exactly the opposite. Show up whenever you want, stay for as long as you want. It's totally on your timetable. It's been surprising for us because I think that our instinct as program managers was to create something regular and ask for a lot of commitment from our families. But instead, what we have found is that the numbers for those programs were getting smaller and we were having to work harder versus the numbers for the programs where we said, stop in if you want to, we're growing and growing and growing. So we're doing what they would tell us. So we're doing what the families are asking them.
I'm about to hand out a lengthened version of something that's also in.
완전 저희를 위해서 해줄 수 있는 게 아니에요. 어르신서 기본에서 쓰기 때문에 사실 공부하니까.
In the UK, they have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what makes something of space friendly to families. This is the packet that they use for their training. We have found it really helpful. We found many of the same things, but they've done a lot of thinking, and we think that this is a really useful tool to help plan programs.
So we use 6 pillars to create all content and curriculum for the families that we work with in New York City. And they are play, discovery, create, art form, arts for all, and community. Each of these is important because we think that they are key to a family being able to participate in the arts and strengthen the bonds between them. Play and joy is one of the key components of all of the work that we do with families because we think that without a feeling of this kind of joy and playfulness, that families won't take the risks needed to be able to participate in the arts. Discovery is there because we are hoping that through the arts and through the work that they do with us, they get to not only learn something new, but they also might get to discover something new about themselves or about a family member. And that might also help strengthen the family bonds. For Create, we want them to be able to be in a position where they make creative choices, both as individuals and as families. So it's not that they're just learning about the arts, but that we're also asking them to participate as artists, as creative decision makers. Art form is because we don't want them just to play games, because then they could play board games at home or video games together. We really want them to be able to see experts in an art form and to understand what true mastery of an art form can look like. We think that that is incredibly inspirational, and it gives them something to strive for together. Arts for All exists partly for a very simple reason, in that we want to make sure that we are continuing to think about people of varying accessibility levels. So if someone has a physical disability, or if someone is on the autism spectrum, that they are still able to participate in the arts. The arts are not only for people who are going to become or have the capacity to become, true artists, but it is for everyone in the community. We also use that pillar to think about how do we create programs that invite the very youngest children all the way to our most esteemed elders to be able to participate in the work that we do. For community, we're hoping that the work that they're doing with us is building the bonds between the family, but also perhaps the bonds of the places that they live or the community of people that they exist within. And that the work that they are doing with us, because of how it's asking them to work together, that it is giving them access and strengthening that community relationship.
So, now we would like you to stand and please move to the pillar in a moment that you feel most familiar with, most positive about. Not one that you're worried about or that you've encountered problems with, but one where you feel like this goes well. Talk to the people in your group about why you chose this pillar. Maybe give some examples about how it is present in your work.
걸 하고 놀이 축제를 열다 보니까 놀이를 통해서 다양한 세대가 쉽게 어울려진다는 거를 발견을 많이 하게 됐었어요.
그 다음에 가족 안에서도 홀부모, 부모가 없는 아동, 아니면 다문화든 아니면 장애든 결국은 함께 나갈 수 있는 접근성이 좋은 프로그램이어야 된다고 생각하고요. 결국은 자발성을 갖고 누구든지 참여할 수 있도록 할 수 있는 문화예술이 되어야 된다고 생각해서.
So these are the pillars that you feel are most strongly represented in your current program. And now we want you to walk to the pillar you have the most questions about, or the most room for growth.
저희는 약간 연극하시는 분들, 수업하시는 분들이 많아서 좀 놀이로 끝나는 게 아니라 그 안에서 좀 깊게 무언가를 아이들이 발견하고 탐색했으면 하는데 그냥 흥미 위주에서 끝나는 그런 피드백을 많이 받기 때문에 좀 아쉽다. 그래서 그 안에서 어떻게 하면 더 발견하고 깊게 탐색할 수 있을까라는 얘기를 했습니다.
저희는 아마 이게 중요하다고 생각해 보니까 가장 어느 게 아이들하고 노는 게 가장 어렵다고 생각하는. 그러니까 어떻게 놀까, 어떻게 놀아야 되지? 이런 문제들이 가장 큰 고민이었던 것 같아요. 이게 돼야지 다른 것들이 되는데 아마도 그런 고민들을 가지고 저희들이 보였던 것 같습니다.
And you will write down a few details about that as we debrief the family workshop after we do it.
꾸미실 수도 있어요. 이제 옷도 그려 넣어주시고 뭐 이렇게.
Level of experience with the arts.
Can you raise your hand if your gingerbread person is an adult? Can you raise your hand if your gingerbread person is a kid? Kids, find an adult. Adults, find some kids. We're going to create some mini families. Then we'll see if we need to adjust it. There can be 2s, 3s, 4s. Take you through a family workshop. Participate as yourselves. Don't pretend to be a 5-year-old. But when we say get together with your family, these are the family groups.
Let me ask everybody to sit down and make sure nobody is left out. I would like each person to say their name one at a time around the circle at a regular volume.
혜정, 안나, 박영, 유미, 하루, 리카. 지성.
Great.
경미.
무시를 이렇게 옆 사람한테 넘겨주는 거예요.
Let's all practice the sound and the gesture together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. Good.
Whoosh. 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 Wow. Whoosh. Whoosh. Whoosh.
This is wonderful. Don't hide. A mistake was made, yes? In clowning, in comedy, mistakes are gold. They bring the audience joy, they make the audience laugh. So right now, we will all clap and cheer because a mistake was made. The first step is a look. I would like you to put your head down, and when I say look, you'll look at this folder. So put your head down and look. Good. This folder is magical. It is going to transform into different things. I will tell you what it is. And the second step is that you will make a shape with your body that shows your reaction to whatever it is. Let's try it. If I say the folder is a pile of snakes, please make a frozen shape with your body that shows your shape.
해주세요. 표현.
Good. So you are not becoming the snakes. Let's try those 2 steps from the beginning. And look. The folder is a beautiful sunset. Shape. Good. And relax. Let's try those 2 steps again. Look. The folder is a treasure chest of diamonds. Good. And find a way to freeze your shape.
Yeah.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, right now everybody is at about a 6. Can you bring your shape up to a 9 or 10? It's a treasure chest of diamonds! Freeze. Good. Yes? Oh, yeah. Good. And relax. There is a third step. In English, we call it a take. It's when you look at the audience. So after you look at the folder and make your shape, you will take to Lindsay, who is your audience. Have you seen my partner? Think 감사합니다. I did not find her. Have you seen my partner? I don't know. Oh, thank you. Bye.
제 친구 보셨어요?
That way. Over there.
고마워요. 없는데? 제 친구 어디 갔어요? 저희요. 없어요. 제 친구 어디 갔어요? 쟤네 여기? 저기 감사합니다.
Thank you so much for coming today to the New Victory Theater's Family Work. We had so much fun playing with both the tall and the small people. We have feedback forms we would like for you to fill out because we at the New Victory Theater want to know what you thought of today's workshop and also what ideas you have for future workshops. So if you are an adult, meaning your gingerbread person is an adult, you will fill out the adult feedback. If you are a kid, meaning your gingerbread person is a kid, you will fill out the kid feedback.
참석 따위의 니즈를 충족시켰다.
할머니가
저는 이혼한 아빠하고 11살 사춘기 누나랑 같이 온 7살 남자아이였거든요. 예술적인 경험은 조금 있지만 수줍음이 많아서 남 앞에 나서는 건 잘 못하는
그래서 만약에 보이지 않는 고무줄 같은 게 있다고 친다면 처음에는 아빠 바지가랑이 붙잡고 이렇게 근처에 머물러 있었는데요. 그 프리크 아웃 할 때 갑자기 아빠랑 확 멀어져서 어쩔 수 없이 게임을 하다가 보니까 내 마음대로 막 벗어난 순간 자유로움을 느꼈어요. 그때부터 본격적으로 발동에 걸려서 얘기 시작하고 그 모든 발표를 할 때 나와서 발표를 하진 않았지만 공동의 목표를 가지고 계속 이렇게 떨리게 이렇게 하고 있는 게 굉장히 좋았어요.
We start with, in America, what we call the do now, which is basically something for the families to come in and immediately do without being taught. In this example,
즉각적으로 바로 그냥 할 수 있는 활동들이요.
important to note, the do now should not have only one way to do it. You shouldn't be able to fail at a do now. Everyone. Then we always go into warm-up games. Kids need warm-up games a little bit because they are fun. Parents and grandparents need warm-up games or they will stay seated. The other thing we do in warm-up games is to start to introduce how you want the participants to interact with each other. Two examples were when Sarah was doing whoosh, she all made us applaud for mistakes, right? She was setting that as a norm for our workshop. Or the cheering to celebrate, right? So she was creating, this is how she wants us to behave as then we go into skill learning. So this was look, shape, shake. So a very basic skill set that they are going to need in the next part of the workshop. Then we went to additional skills. So then it went to routine 1 and introducing the setup and the payoff. And then into routine 2. And routine 2 is what set us up for the next part, which is always the families themselves making creative decisions. With the creative decisions, you don't want to leave it so wide open that it paralyzes the families. It's very helpful to say, here is a structure, now change one thing. Or here is 3 moves, dance moves, you sequence them and add the final. So that the creative decision is not so open that it is paralyzing. Then there's always a chance for them to share what they learned. It is also the responsibility of the teaching artist to be the cheerleader in this moment. The teaching artist needs to be responsible for creating an environment in which anyone who shares is going to feel that the risk was not an entirely negative experience. Not that you can be responsible for making sure that everyone's experience is positive, but only so that you are aware of yourself as the caretaker of that moment. And then we end it with a closing and feedback. The closing is often something very similar to the question that you guys answered. It's a chance for the family to share about the experience they had. No, not anymore. All you will do is come up with idea. Do not make a decision. We want it to be either a warm-up game,
그래서 뭐 웜업 게임이 될 수도 있겠고요.
a skill learning,
혹은 스킬 학습에 대한 부분이 될 수도 있겠고.
or a creative decision.
혹은 가족에게 어떤 창작의 기회를 주는 그 시간이 될 수도 있겠고요.
So choose one of these to focus. Raise your hand if you think of yourself as an actor or a theater person.
일단은 자기가 이제 그룹을 좀 짜야 되니까요. 자기가 연극이나 혹은 배우다, 연극과 관련됐거나 배우다라고 해서 손 들어 주시겠어요? 더 빠르게.
Often to highlight a skill set that they are going to need in the next step.
Is that if you make the mistake, you are asked to put your arms up and look at everyone in the eyes and be proud of your mistake.
신경 쓰여서 좀 이렇게 분위기를 어둡게 하는 그런 사람이 있다고 하면 그 사람들을 참여를 유도하는 방법이다.
With your art form group, please take 15 minutes.
저것이냐 이 어떤 대기사설에 저 어디에 위치할지
얘기한 건 웜업 전 단계. Just the warm up. Perfect.
Oh, do now.
Perfect. Does that to do now? And you're going to do this. Great.
그래서 얻을 수 있어요. 그러니까 여정, 발견, 획득. 획득은 못해도 돼요. 아니 생각하지도
예명단에 이제 이쪽에 있는 큰 바람을 여러분들이 다 불어먹고 바닥에 앉으실 거예요.
Then Lindsay, who was playing the role not of teaching artist but of event manager.
청소년이랑 같이 해서 그쪽 그룹을 케어하는 거죠.
Or I would take on that role myself. I would go and partner.
The first behavior is if an adult is absent or busy, which may look like they drop their kid off and they leave. They don't know that we want them to stay and play with their kids. There are 2 points we will make about this. The first is that we front load right at the beginning our expectations very transparently. And we say it often more than once, usually once very warmly with a lot of warmth, and then again firmly, but not yelling at anyone. I will tell you that once a family came to a workshop I was teaching. The parents did not know we would ask them to participate. I told them our expectations, and one parent decided to leave and one parent decided to stay. Nobody was angry, but they got clear information from me and were able to make their own decision. We do not do any long-term programming with families. Families sign up for one family workshop. They come for 90 minutes, that's it. Or they come to the theater to see a show, and for a half an hour before the show, they play. And that's it. But because they don't feel intimidated by the amount of commitment we are asking from them, we often find, in turn, they do come back to us. They sign up for a clowning family workshop. 2 months later, they sign up for a puppetry family workshop. A month later, they bring their child to see a show and they stay for the free event that we have in the lobby afterwards. So ultimately, we are able to achieve, with some families, some repeat long-term impact.
This choice comes from one of our bigger failures, which another person had asked for us to talk more about. Oh, this is great. You're going to come for 8 weeks in a row. It's going to be this deep impact for your family. It's going to be amazing. We had 4 families show up for the first one, 1 show up for the second, a different family show up for the third, and by the 4th week, I don't think anyone came. Family workshop, but there are multiples to choose from. We have sold out this season already, and it goes until May. We made the choice that we wanted to expand access for families and hope that they would choose to create their own impact, as opposed to creating a program that was all about impact but cut off access for most families. So our commitment and what we have chosen to do all of our programming for is around access, which sometimes now means we have fewer of these. Because if someone is really exhausted, they don't come. That does lessen impact, but it's a choice that we've made and will continue to make.
Behavior number 2. An adult who is reserved or withdrawn. They don't try to drop their kid off and leave, but they are likely to sit on the periphery. I will start by saying that there are 2 ways I think about inviting an adult to participate in an activity. One way is to extend a very open-ended invitation. You put the scarves out, and maybe that's all. Or maybe you say verbally, please feel free to play with the scarves. If you are reading the energy of the adult and they are in that moment, they seem very eager, that might be enough. We like to give an action-oriented invitation. So we put the sign that says, please find as many ways as you can to throw and catch a scarf with your family members. We are sure to start with and include throughout ways for adults to participate in what we call a low focus way. There's low focus and there's high focus. In the family workshop with Whoosh, if you don't want to get crazy, all you have to do is pass the whoosh. That's it. Parents who are being overly critical of their kids. I think this is something that we encounter less than you do. In New York City, there are kids who audition to be on Broadway, and they are perhaps part of a more competitive circle. But most of the kids and families who come to our program are there to experience the arts and not become professionals. One is that we look for opportunities to change the power dynamic. You saw this yesterday when we said we want the kids to be the directors of the scene. Another example is we run short camps, like in circus. The kids are learning circus skills. Their parents come for 15 minutes at the end of the day, and we say, parents, your kids are going to teach you a skill they've been learning. After people shared their routines, I asked, when did we laugh? I did not jump to what could have been better. And my final reflection question was, tell your family a moment you had fun or something you discovered about them. I will say that the word discover in English has a very positive connotation. So it will be rare that someone will say, I discovered that my mom is a terrible actor. Soon we will introduce you another event that we do for families.
저희가 이제 가족들하고 하는 워크숍 말고도 다른 이벤트들이 있습니다. 그래서 그거에 대해서 이따 말씀을 드릴 텐데요.
It's called Arts Express.
저희가 이제 아트 익스프레스라고 부르는 프로그램인데요.
We use the word express because people can express themselves through the arts.
뒤에 아트 익스프레스인데 익스프레스라는 용어를 쓰는 것 자체가 예술을 통해서 표현을 한다, 자기 자신을 표현한다라는 그런 의미도 있고요.
But also because in English, an express train is fast.
영어에서는 익스프레스라고 하는 게 고속, 속성, 어떤 그런 의미도 갖고 있는 거죠.
This is an event that families come to at our theater in the lobby before they see a show.
그래서 이 이벤트 같은 경우에는 그 가족들이 우리 극장에 쇼를 보러 올 때 그때의 쇼를 시작하기 전에 로비에서 짧게 진행하는 프로그램입니다.
엄마 다 같이 가요.
Yes, lightly. Ah, very nice. I'll be your cloud guide. Oh, lightly. Oh, lovely. Oh, very nice. And I can see on your face you are very happy. Now, down below, what would you say to the people? Come on. Come down. Oh, down to the ground. Oh, nicely done. Okay, all right, are you ready? Yes. What's happening? You can leave it anytime.
카드 만드실래요? 나만의 동화 빠져나올 수 없어요. 하면 되는 거 아니에요?
공연 볼 때 좀 처음에 저희 같은 경우도 어떤 웜업이 안 돼 있기 때문에 가서 좀 딱딱하게 처음에 시작할 수가 있는데 이렇게 웜업을 하고 공연을 보면 좀 더 적극적으로 공연에 대해서 호응할 수 있고 반응할 수 있고 공연의 내용들을 더 적극적으로 흡수할 수 있을 것 같아요.
비슷한 얘기인데 이제 그냥 공연의 얘기가 나와 다른 이야기가 아니라 마치 내가
공연 장면에서 구름 위를 걷는 장면이 나온다고 하면 아 나도 걸었었지라는 것들을 기억할 수 있게 될 것 같아요.
Okay, so when our teaching artists actually do quite a bit of in-role work, like Sarah was doing as a queen. And I think that oftentimes teaching artists that are new to the New Victory have a concern that if they are in role, it will be very hard to control the participants, whether they are students or public members. However, often what we find is you have more flexibility to control the people you're working with in role than you do as a teaching artist, because as a teaching artist, I couldn't say, sit down, but in a character, I can. So the key to being able to control when you are in character is choosing who your character is. If you choose a very low status character, you might need some help from someone else. Or the game might be that you're begging them to do something. Won't you please sit down, sir? Please. Sir, if you don't sit down, I will be lost. I will be banished from the kingdom. Or you choose a very high status. Sit down. So you have to be careful about what character you choose. But actually, often, it's easier to teach in character than it is to teach as yourself. If we were to go back to the pillars, I think that that is a very insightful statement. We would identify that a family workshop hits more on the community side, and the Arts Express is less on the community side. the moments of community in that Arts Express are short. They're like applaud when someone arises onto the thing, or I don't know, in the bingo parlor, everybody cheers, working the queen. For most Arts Expresses, play is much more present or forward.
For most Arts Expresses, there are 3 kinds of activities that we include. 1, craft. Today we had 2, the cards and the mural. So even though our art form is theater, we want to be welcoming to people who feel more comfortable not moving and instead drawing. Number 2, we often have a game, a very familiar game that we find ways to theatricalize.
Yeah.
So with bingo, I'm pulling out fairy tale characters and I'm asking questions like, have you ever met a queen? Do you know the Blue Witch? What are her powers? And the third is a little bit more like straight theater. So the walk in the clouds, it's movement theater. I can give 3 fast examples. In bingo, when people are coming in, the usher hands a card to the adult and the kid. Number 2, I once ran an obstacle course that a kid and an adult had to do together, with the adult blindfolded and the kid leading them. Number 3, do you know Simon Says? Do you play that here? So I said you have to play Simon Says with 1 small and 1 tall, and the commands I was giving were to practice sword fighting moves together. And one little way with that I convinced the adults is I said, in order to keep this activity safe, it has to be 1 adult and 1 kid.
We asked Minyoung, a show that people in Korea would be familiar with, and she told us The Lion King, which happens to be one of my favorite shows. It also provides lots of opportunities, because if you are music, you can think of it as a music show. If you are a visual artist, you can think of it as a mask show. If you are a theatrical or a dance artist, both of those exist in the show. So think of this show through the lens of your own art form. So I'm going to show you the clip to help remind you and make you feel all the feelings. And then you are going to have 10 minutes to brainstorm ideas for what this kind of, these kind of activities might be.
그래서 지금 비슷하실 텐데 약간 저희는 메이크업을 생각을 했어요. 근데 이제 그 전에 이제 자기 한 5개 종류의 동물을 그림을 그려놓고 여기서 네가 동물을 하나 선택해라. 그 다음에 그 동물에 네가 원하는 메이크업을 시켜보자. 그래서 애들이 거기 색칠을 해서 그걸 그대로 가지고 오면 이제 옆에서 그대로 아이에게 분장을 네가 그린 대로 똑같이 분장을 시켜주고 그 옆에는 이제 배우가 직접 자기 분장하는 것도 구경시켜주고 약간 이런 식으로 해서 내 그림과 스스로를 일치시키고 이제 연극적인 작업으로 생각을 했던 거는 그 상태에서 이제 뭐 배경이나 뭐 그런 헬퍼들이 분장한 동물들과 같이 조인을 해서 그러니까 동영상을 자기 요즘에 핸드폰에 영상이 많으니 찍을 수가 있으니까 잠깐 정도 한 10초, 20초 정도 잠깐 짧은 연기 그래서 영상을 찍어서 주고 약간 그런 거를 좀
생각했습니다.
네, 한국에 투라는 게임이 있어요. 이렇게 앞에다가 통 같은 거 미안님 통 같은 거 넣고 거기다가 화살인가 그걸 던져서 쏙 집어넣으면은 이제 네, 그렇게 하는 건데 저희 이제 오복이라는 게 있어요. 한국에는 이제 민간에서 이야기는 오복이요. 찾아보니까 치아 건강한 거, 자손이 많은 거, 부부애 그리고 뭐 선 대접할 게 항상 있는 이 정도의 부가 있는 거 그리고 명당에 묻히는 거 이렇게 해서 오복이 있는데요. 그거를 5개를 놓고 이제 태어날 신바의 미래를 위해서 우리가 이걸 같이 하는 거예요, 게임을. 그래서 동시다발로 하나 둘 셋 해서 딱 던져가지고 하면은 이제 진행하시는 분이 변장된 그 오랑우탄인가? 원숭이 할아버지가 우리 신바는 재물복이 생기겠군요. 감사합니다 여러분. 이렇게 해서 게임 돌리는 거예요. 그런 식으로. 네, 그런 식으로. 그래서 이제 다음 사람들 와가지고 함께 하나 둘 셋 해서 또 던져서 또 다른 거 나오면 또 이거 설명해주고. 네.
We also have lockers that are free for but that is very unique in New York.
You know, we said what went well, what were the challenges, what would we like to adjust in our partnership next time. And
얘기를 하고 그다음에 내가 뭔가를 요구하기가 너무 어려운 거예요. 그걸 me as a person.
Good. Freeze.
예, 멈춰주세요.
From remember your pose.
Wish into the center of our circle.
여기 제가 하나, 둘, 셋을 세시면은요, 여러분이 직접 입으로 자신의 바램을 이 가운데 원으로 내뱉는 겁니다. 적용하고 싶은 그거를 내뱉는 거예요.
1, 2, 3. I wish. Now I want everyone to take their spoon and I want you to stir the circle. Oh yeah, take everybody's wish, stir it up.
모두의 바램을 다 섞는 겁니다.
And then I want you to take a big scoop.
네, 그 다음에 크게 한 모금 뜨셔가지고요. 드셔주세요.
It was very pleasant today how people jumped in with their hearts and minds. So they were able to switch modes between being active, playful participants and then critical thinkers about how they might apply what we shared with them to their own work.
We have loved meeting the Korean participants so far, and I think that one of the things that has been a most delightful surprise is how funny everyone is. We felt like we were taking a little bit of a risk to come in and use comedy or clowning as the art form that we would use to teach a lot of the family engagement skills. But I have been so delighted by not only how willing everyone is to take risks and to put themselves in a situation that might be uncomfortable for them, but also the work that they did in especially the Clowning Family Workshop was incredibly high caliber comedy. And I enjoyed myself and laughed so authentically at the work that they were doing. So I would say that is one thing that I have been just absolutely impressed and surprised by.
첫째 번 거부터 정말 끝날 때까지 나한테 정말 필요한 거구나. 그래서 아주 유용하게 사용할 수 있을 것 같아요. 그렇죠. 이거 순간순간마다 이거는 그때 이렇게 써야겠다. 아 이건 그때 이게 더 좋겠다 막 이런 거 정말 많이 접목할 수 있는 게 그때그때 딱딱 떠올라요. 그래서 정말 감사하다 막 이런 생각 들었어요.
제가 지금 현재 문화예술 교육을 하고 있으면서 그 전 세대가 아우를 수 있는 그런 프로그램, 그런 워크숍은 가장 필요한 부분이라고 생각을 하거든요. 왜냐하면은 가장 중요한 거는 그 아동은 부모가 있고 그 부모도 아동이 있고 근데 그분들이 같이 함께 소통을 나눌 수 있는 부분이 무엇인가가 가장 중요하다고 생각했는데 그것을 이 지금 뉴 빅토리 극장에서는 어떻게 진행을 하고 있는지 좀 궁금했고 그것을 어떻게 저희 지금 현재 하고 있는 현장에서 어떻게 활용할 수 있는지에 대해서 좀 더 배우고 개발하기 위해 참여를 하게 됐습니다. 다른 워크숍 같은 경우는 배웠다 끝났다 다음에 이것을 그냥 해보자 라고 하는데 이것이 아니라 내가 이런 식으로 개발을 하면 되겠구나라는 것에 대한 방법론을 제시했기 때문에 그런 부분이 있어서 좋은 것 같습니다. 네.
가족 프로그램이었고요. 함께 연극을 만드는 그러니까 아이의 태몽을 가지고 가족이 함께 테이블 연극을 만드는 프로그램이었는데 되게 프로그램이 진행이 잘 되기는 했지만 가족들끼리 약간 경쟁적인 분위기가 생기더라고요. 그래서 좀 가족들끼리 함께 퍼포먼스도 하지만 경쟁적이 아니라 조금 다 융합되고 이렇게 조금 어우러질 수 있는 그런 프로그램을 하려면 어떻게 할까 고민을 하고 있는데 마침 이 워크숍을 알게 됐어요. 이 워크숍을 통해서 함께 배운다는 것, 과정을 중시한다는 것에 대해서 다시 한번 배울 수 있게 됐어요. 너무 감사하게 생각합니다. 네.
동기는 충족이 되었고요. 그 동기가 이제 제가 다양한 가족 형태 또 다양한 세대들하고 하는 프로그램을 지금 구상을 하고 있는데 그 프로그램을 적용할 수 있을 만큼의 효과를 거두었습니다. 그리고 효과를 거두었고 이제 그런 지금 그 아이디어나 또 여기서 만나신 몇 분들과 함께 좀 더 이렇게 발전시켜서 연구시켜서 아마 적용을 내년 사업에 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 그 빅토리아의 어떤 교육 철학이나 그리고 콘텐츠 개발 과정이랄까 그리고 교육 설계 구조를 설명해 주시는 게 제가 프로그램 기획하는데 좀 많은 아이디어를 그럴까 이렇게 저거였지 저걸 빼먹었었구나 하는 건 얻었었고 그리고 단체 운영에도 좀 많은 포인트를 조금 얻어서 그게 좀 가장 큰 사실 소득이었습니다. 프로그램 이 과정 콘텐츠 자체만 좀 얻으려고 왔었었는데 전체적인 어떤 단체 운영이나 또 철학적인 부분도 좀 이 팁을 얻은 것 같아서 좀 굉장히 만족스러웠습니다. 네.
저는 진행하시는 선생님의 그 액션이나 모션 같은 게 참가자의 분위기를 이렇게 참가자들의 분위기를 굉장히 다르게 할 수 있고 부드럽게 할 수 있구나라는 그런 게 되게 좋았어요. 강사분에게 되게 감동받았어요.
솔직히 다 인상적이었는데요. 그중에 가장 인상적이었던 거는 좀 다른 맥락일 수 있지만 예술 강사님들의 어떤 그 자세와 태도 이렇게 항상 그게 교육이 되는 건지 모르겠는데 무릎을 꿇고 얘기하시고 가장 낮은 자세, 잘 보이는 자세 그런 세심한 배려들이 굉장히 많이 느껴졌었고 그렇기 때문에 저희 교육자들이 진짜 그분들이 깔아놓은 매트리스 위에서 마음껏 좀 뛰어놀 수 있었던 그런 느낌이었던 것 같아요. 굉장히 참여하는데 어색함이나 두려움이 없었던 것 같아요. 네.